Something odd happened the other day when I sat down to have my morning breakfast. It started out as it normally does. I poured a bowl full of Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheat cereal because I didn't have time to cook any bacon or eggs and because I'm an adult and I can do what I want. While chowing down on this delicious bowl full of Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheat cereal, I haphazardly skimmed through the back of the box, working out the various puzzles and games designed for small children. Then I worked my way to the side of the box to give the nutritional facts a once-over. Being a man of useless information, I began reflecting on the fact that the nutritional facts label, which became mandatory through the 1990 Nutritional Labeling and Education Act, had been around on cereal just as long as I had been around, 29 years. This reminded me, as many things in life are starting to do, that by this time next year, I'll be 30. Which got me thinking about growing up, and how one of the TV sitcoms I often watched as a kid was That 70s Show, a series that focused on the lives of a group of 6 teenage friends living in Wisconsin during that decade, and how the 70s seemed so foreign and ancient to me as a young kid glued to the television set. But if I got my math right and the dates were properly paralleled, it dawned on me that hypothetically some young kid somewhere could just as easily be staring at an iPad watching a sitcom called That 90s Show, and how they'd likely be thinking the exact same thing about the decade that I grew up in. This made me sad. But this existential dread was soon cut short when I glanced at the recommended serving size of the cereal. 21 biscuits. What? What? These aren't biscuits. Are they? Is this a biscuit? What is a biscuit? I was confused, but rather than do a quick Google search to satisfy my curiosity on the subject, I had my assistant Lance take the company card and hit up the local supermarket to purchase a series of items to test my biscuit detection skills. He, in return, produced a series of high-resolution photographs of these various items for reasons that are still unclear to me, but I've decided to include in this video anyway to increase the production value. Let's begin. Red Lobster Cheddar Bay Biscuit Mix. Is this a biscuit? I'm gonna say biscuit because it says makes 10 biscuits. 10 biscuits. It's a biscuit. Makes sense? Chicken in a biscuit. Is this a biscuit? Not a biscuit. Crackers. Why does it say in a biscuit? What is this called? Milk bone gravy bones. I'm gonna say not a biscuit. 1 to 5 biscuits per day. A biscuit. How is this a biscuit? Doesn't make any sense. Bitty Bites. The other one was a biscuit, so this is a biscuit. Not a biscuit? Biscoff. Now obviously, they call these biscuits. For cookies, it says cookies. Why does it say cookies? Korovka. These are cookies, because those are cookies. Because it's the same thing. I mean, look at it. It's the same exact biscuits. How are these biscuits? Same thing. What? Pillsbury Grands Flaky Lays. That's a biscuit. Those are biscuits. Biscuits? Biscuits. Biscuits.
What is life? What is the point of life? Like, what are we here for?
Okay. Belita Soft Baked. That's not a biscuit. Not a biscuit. That's a biscuit? Pocky. Cookies and Pocky sticks are not biscuits. There's no way those are biscuits. Those are biscuits? How is that a biscuit? Okay, enough with the guesswork. Let's hit up the Encyclopedia and figure out what's going on. Biscuit is a term used for a variety of primarily flour-based baked food products, and the term varies depending on what part of the world it is used in. An American biscuit, seen on the left, is soft and flaky. British biscuits, seen on the right, are dry and crunchy. The old French word for biscuit is derived from 2 Latin words, the first meaning twice, the second meaning to cook, and thus means twice cooked. This is because biscuits were originally cooked in a twofold process, first baked and then dried out in a slow oven. This term then was adapted into English in the 14th century to mean a hard, twice-baked product. In other European countries, biscuit-like terms were used instead to refer to sponge cake-style food. When settlers arrived in America, they began to fight over which of the 2 definitions the term should refer to. The American Revolutionary War didn't really do the Brits any favors, so the British use of biscuit quickly fell out of favor, and Americans decided instead to use a Dutch term, which eventually became the word cookie, reserving the word biscuit for, well, biscuits. What does all of this have to do with anything? I have no idea. But in all my 29 years on this planet, I never knew any of this. Maybe you did. Maybe, like me, you didn't. And for whatever reason, you're concerned about your friends or family's understanding of this subject. If you happen to know an American, or a Brit, or anybody, maybe you could share this with them, so they can find out too. Or whatever.
It's really dry.